Hello and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and you can see more videos like this. I'm continuing my new series, which is called What Should You Play? And the idea behind it is I'm going to be showing games that I already own. And these aren't unboxings in the traditional sense of brand new and unboxing them. These are games that I have played, and I think that it's something that you should consider and you should look at based upon complexity, based upon cost. Right now, I'm going through a set of games that are $25 or less. Currently, this is $18 or $19 from Amazon. There are 3 of these games in the series. There's Vainglory's Grotto, which is what we're looking at right now. There's Scorn's Stockade, which is the second, and the final one in the series is Callus's Labs. Interestingly enough, they go up in price from this. So this is like $18, $19, and the other one I think goes up to like $24, $25, and then $26 for the third. Don't ask me why. It's basically the same set of cards, different bosses, different characters, but the same idea. If you're new to the Kinfire series, I really would recommend you starting with this one. This is a little more straightforward, and one of the characters is a lot easier to play than others. But anyways, this is, as it states here, it's 1 to 2 player, up to 60 minutes here, 14 and up. And the artwork on these games are just absolutely incredible. So let's take a look at the inside of the box. Hold it the correct way. You can see all the characters that are portrayed in the game. So this is, there's a total of 6 characters. There's one by the fire here. It's kind of hard to see this dwarf guy. There are 6 characters, but there are only 2 per game. So 2 in this one, 2 in Scorn's, and 2 in Callus's Labs. Now, these games technically can be played up to 4 player. If you play in 4 player, you have to have another game, and you can take the characters out of them and play them along with, like in this game here. We're not even going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking at it from either a solo or a 2-player perspective. And, I don't know if I've mentioned this has a weight of 2.15 out of 5 on BGG, and what that means is the complexity is higher than, for example, the last game we looked at was Tokaido Duo. This is twice the complexity of Tokaido Duo. It's not difficult to learn, but it's hard to master. There's a lot of complexity and strategy, and just to kind of go through it. So if Tokaido Duo was good enough for you, this may not be the game for you. But if you're looking for a crunchier type of experience, this is a good place to start. $19, can't beat it. And let's take a look at the quality of the components. So first of all, you have a very simple manual. It goes over the components and components that you get in the game. They don't even look like this. The skill dice and the progress tokens, they don't even look like that. But it shows the cards, the number of cards you have, and in this particular case, it shows how you set up the game as far as lay it on a table. It does spread out a little bit, but you don't have to. And then, of course, it goes over how you interpret the cards and how they are used in the game. So really quick, the game works off of this is a deck of cards called the Well deck. And your characters, your 2 characters or 1 characters, if you want to play it completely solo, your character goes through this deck of cards, which is like a well. And there are 4 cards around a central area that you have to defeat. And when you defeat 1 or more of them, you get to dive down into the well a little further. And once you reach the end and you run out of cards, that's when you reach the big boss, final boss, in this case, or Vainglory. This is Vainglory's Grotto, so you meet Vainglory, and I'll go over what they look like, or I'll just show you what they look like. So let me get these little things out of the way. So these are part of the progress tokens. There's some more down below, but these just represent progress tokens. And what a progress token is as I go through and I take on these challenges, which we'll see in a second. These keep track. These just help you keep track of how much or how far you've pulled that challenge down. And once that challenge's number goes down to 0, you've defeated that challenge. So let's start off with the fun stuff, and that's the characters. So move that aside over here. Characters consist of, let's get rid of these here. The characters consist of a lantern, and a lantern is just really a powerful card that you get to play. So this is the character's lantern. You don't get to play it all the time. Yeah, it has to be lit like a lantern in order for it to be used. And this is one of the characters, and the character looks like this. His name is Core, and you can see what he does. It says this is his power. When any seeker fails a challenge, you may reduce the damage suffered by 1 for each shield that a seeker's current action or boost. It really works great if I'm playing 2-player. I play 2 hands at one time. If you're solo, this doesn't really have much of an effect. But if you play 2-player, then you get an idea of what it does. So the cards themselves, as you've seen on the other ones, they're really pretty. They have they have this. Don't want to drop my entire deck there. So they have this foil on actual cards. Really nice. The card thickness is pretty good, and the back side of the cards are these actions, which we'll go over what the character's actions can be. And there are, so we have the actions, and there's another character that comes along with it. This is her lantern. It's again a very powerful card in the scheme of things, and this is her character. She's crazy. This is wonderful. She's like kind of like an acrobat, thief, something. If you're starting the game. And some of the things that, she has, search for traps, outside the box, mule kick, so these are just like, again, actions that the character can play. So you have her, what's her name? Her name is Asha of Brillbrook. All right. So we have Asha here. We have Core right over here with his lantern. And I'll just put them here so you can see them. We also have Vainglory. She's the baddie. And there are there's 4, I'm sorry. There are 4 versions of her. And you just randomize them when you start the game, and you pick one. They vary in complexity. Hope you don't get the 21. They vary in complexity in order for you to defeat this person. Now these cards, very similar. Very similar to the character cards. You can see that the artwork is kind of shiny in there. It's kind of raised. So these particular cards, since they're the boss, they're a little higher quality. I shouldn't say quality. They just have some really extra little bling to them, just because they're the boss cards. There's just very few of them. So we have those boss cards. Vainglory has what is called a gauntlet, and we'll go over that. Again, these also have that shiny sheen to the artwork. See what the gauntlet is. And next, but not quite the end, we have these cards which are called exhaustion cards. And exhaustion cards are when I need when I run out of cards in my hand, and I only get a few cards in my hand. I think if I'm playing 2, I get 7 cards. If I'm playing just 1, I get 8. But I'm going to show you what it's like for just 1. I'll pull those 8 cards. If I need to redo my deck, or I find that this is an action or a penalty for losing a challenge, I have to add this to the set of statuses that are going on. So this is kind of a bad every single one is bad, right? So it says if there are ever 3 copies of this card in play at once, you lose the game immediately. So I need to refresh my card, I'll get an exhaustion, and that's it. Now, throughout the game, there are cases of you can remove an exhaustion, you can gain health, you can do things like that. So it's not completely dire, but it definitely is difficult. Before we go, actually, let's go ahead and go to the well cards. I'm gonna grab some additional tokens. These are the 1 tokens. There's a lot of 1 tokens. So I have 3s and 1s to help me whittle down the progress that I've made to defeat the challenge. So let's take a look at the well deck. Now, you don't use all these cards. There's definitely a lot of cards. Some of them get discarded at the start, depending upon player count. But the way that this game works is, that's why it's called Delve, Kinfire Delve. Your character, our characters are diving into this well of this evil character, trying to defeat this character. And these well cards, you can see that these are the back of the cards. These are really pretty nice. The front of the cards are challenges and events, and there's all type obstacles. There's different types, and also there are different colors, and they all make a difference. There's green. There's kind of a dark green or a black, like a rust color, and some of them are combinations of the two. But either case here. These are the challenges that you're going to encounter in the deck. In the well, rather. Okay. So here are our characters. I'm just going to set them over here to the side. One last thing are the die that come along with the game. So you have 3 of these dies that help you on your challenge or hinder you. I shouldn't say hinder you. They help you with the challenge. So, for example, if I need to defeat a challenge that has green, I would end up rolling the die, and if I got a green, it would help me. Well, in this case, I don't get a green, so it does not help me at all. So if I had planned to get even 1, now I'm down 1, and I get some damage. There's another die here that is white or black. I'm not exactly sure what those symbols mean. This one I think is just like lantern. I'm not so sure what this is. The bottom line is the black is generally bad. So if you get that, not good. If you get this, good. So if I am doing my die, and I would normally do this, and I wanted a green, right? Here's a case where I got 1 green, but if I also got a white is considered like wild. So now this is equivalent to having 2 greens. So both of these can be used to count toward the progress that I've made against that challenge. Okay, and lastly, you have this die, 10-sided die, starting at 10, and it just keeps track of your health progress. So even if I have 2 characters, they share this health. So whenever I get a damage or a problem, I just reduce it by 1, and just keep on going. So I'll go to a 9. So that's nice. But either way you use it, you need to count 10 health. So we've gone over the exhaustion, we've gone over the tokens, we've gone over the well. Let's look at how the game is set up. Oh, wait, shoot. our Vainglory, right? Our character who's Vainglory, and what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these cards randomly, and we're just going to put it in the center. This is how the game operates, and we're going to start the game. Every game starts with 4 cards that are around Vainglory. Hopefully I can get them all here. Get them in here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we are. So we have Vainglory, and she's always surrounded by 4 cards. So in this case, we have a puzzle card, which is the maze, and notice it's kind of a darker green. We have the fountains, which is a trap. We have another trap, which is King's Ransom. And then we have a combat, which is Great Stag. So, yeah, these are the characters, or these are the challenges that you would get playing the game. So let's just see roughly how it works. Well, we'll take our character core, and here's our character card. This is the person we're playing. And here's his lantern. By default, the lantern is off. Doesn't get to light the lantern. We have to look at lighting it. And he has this set of cards, which I'm going to shuffle here. And, we're going to pick 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so he has 8 of these cards, which are his action cards for at least this round while he has these cards. So here we have Accept the Blow, Fresh Eyes. If attempting a puzzle, a white die is worth an extra +2 if rolled. That's actually pretty good, right? Taunt, which doesn't do a whole heck of a lot other than shields. That's important. Fearless, more a combat card. Riposte. Some of these were out of focus. Riposte. Riposte. I'm sure that I'm mispronouncing it. Again, notice that there are 2 colors in this case. Where it will you can attack a rust color and a green color, or a red and a green, how you want to look at it. White attacks anything, right? Remember, white is kind of like wild. All right, so let's take a look at how I would start this game. So I have my set of cards, and one thing I have to look at these. The damage right here. It says if I fail this challenge, I suffer 1 health. Let me bring it up here. If I fail this challenge, I suffer 1 health. That's an icon for health. For every other 3 fountains in play. And there's no other 3 fountains in play. So I get 1. If completed, triple its reward for every other 3 fountains in play. So again, it's kind of, are you going to really get a great bonus or are you not? And let's take a look. So here's the failures condition. I lose 1 health. Here's the bonus when I win is I get to delve down 3 cards. So I get to take 3 cards off my well deck, and that's my new level. Okay, this is, here's another example. We'll probably attack this one. Great Stag, combat. It says any other challenge that deals health to you deals 1 additional damage. So do I have any other challenges that are here? And I do. And the fountains they already give me 1 damage, so that if I don't, and that damage, that value is only if you fail the challenge. And failing the challenge means you're not able to put enough progress to defeat the Great Stag. So let's take a look. How does this work? How does this game work? So it's orange, so I can't use this card because it's green or black. I have to use an orange card or a card that has orange in it. So this is orange and black. This is interesting. It doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, but you ignore any damage you suffer this turn. That could be pretty powerful. There's a number down here which represents an additional boost. So you have a 2, you get a +1, and you get a plus shield. And a shield is just used to say, hey, you know what? If I'm going against some damage, I can maybe brush it off. There are cards that allow you to gain some additional bonus off of shield. Like in this case here. For every damage suffered by 1, for each shield that the seeker currently action right, so you may reduce the damage by 1 for each shield. So if there were 2 shields and I get 2 damage, I can not take any damage at all. So shield is very powerful. All right, so let us go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so we're going to go after the Great Stag. So, one last thing to mention. These numbers at the bottom, these are either bonus numbers for this. So if I take the action and I get this is the type of damage, I can add this to it. And it's white, meaning that that little color is white, meaning that it's a wild. Right, so I get a 3 + 1. And +3 versus a puzzle, and I have a puzzle over here. It's really great. But I can also, for example, let's take that maze, because it's the color. Let's take that maze as an example. I can go through and add another card as a boost. So I get a 3 + 1. +3 versus puzzle, plus another 2 and a shield, which is great, right? I mean, that's enough to defeat the maze, which is perfect. But I'm using 2 cards, 2 out of my 8. Now I'm only going to have 6 because once I use these cards to defeat this, those cards are now out of play. All right, so what we're going to do is we have this Fearless, and it's red or rust color. And so it works on red or green down here at the bottom. The boost does. The main damage it goes against red only. This extra boost goes for either one. So we're going to go against the Great Stag. So this is a 3. Well, 3 + 1, that's not enough. That's 4. So definitely not enough. So let's take a look and see what our chances are. We're going to do a bit of a push your luck. I only want to use 1 card. So this is what I'm going against. I'm going against the Stag here. And I start off with 3. The +1 is 4. I need to get 6. So how I can achieve the extra is by this. Let me see if I can get a white or 2 more red. So if I do that, and look, I got 2 red here, and even a white. Right, this one doesn't count. So this is an additional 3 that I can add to this damage. So 3 + 3 is 6, +1 is 7. That's enough to defeat the Stag. When I defeat the Stag, I get the trophy, which means I get to go down 2 cards in the well. I don't look at them. I get rid of the Stag. I just put it over here saying this is the things I've defeated. And I take another card and I put it here. And then I continue the game. And I go around until I run out of cards or run out of health, which hopefully you don't do it early on in the game. If I run out of cards, remember, I take this here, and this is a status that goes on forever, right? As soon as I have that status, now I always have to worry about that. In this particular case, it says refill the board with 1 fewer challenge card. This does not affect the final gauntlet. And so that's bad, right? Because I want to delve down as quickly as I can, and if I only have 3 cards, it makes it more difficult to dive down. So that's why this is a pain. But when I play an exhaust, I get to redo my cards and I get to pick hopefully a new 8 more, and several of them are different. There's 14, 15 cards that are part of a character's hand. And let me see if I have all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? No, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I was wrong. So there's 20 different cards. You shuffle them up again, and you're not going to get the same 8 that you had before. So I shuffle them up again here. So there's a total of 18 cards that you have. So a character has 18. You have 18 different action cards, excluding the lantern. You'll get a card in here that says, "Hey, you can light your lantern if you win or what have you." When you light your lantern, now you have this power 5 right off 5, and it says after this action, after this action, add 3 progress to all other challenges. So this is really powerful. But once you use it, it's no longer lit. So you have to use it when you can, and it makes sense. So 18 cards. So this is really how the game plays, right? If you have 2 characters or 2 people playing, that person can contribute a card as a boost. So they can give you this +1. They lose a card, and of course you're out a card, but you get that additional boost so the other character can help. At that point, you only get 7 cards each instead of 8 cards each. All right, so roughly that's the game. Once you get down to the bottom, the bosses get really hard. So let's just say we run our deck through. You get everything. Vainglory's there. This is where the game gets really hard. I hate this part. It's just the way it is. You have to go through these 4 baddies, and some of them are pretty complicated. Once you defeat one of these characters here, like I have defeat 9, I get no value if I win, but if I lose, I get damage. But once I defeat one of these, I flip it over, and now. And Vainglory also gets flipped over. And you can see this one's pretty bad. She has 15 progress. But what this means is now they're vulnerable to green. Vainglory right now is not, you can't hit her at all. But if I get a green or white, now I can put damage on Vainglory. And so I need to defeat all of these 4. They call it the gauntlet. Defeat that 15, and then that's it. I win the game. But as you can see, it is not very easy to win the game. There's a lot of challenges. Your health can go down. There are, like I said, there are cards to help you gain health, or remove exhaustion. These penalties, remove them. So they do exist, but they're few and far between. There's few and far between cards that allow you to light a lantern to give you that extra super uber ability. But that's it. You go down the well until you beat everybody, and that's the end. That's the end of the game. And you've considered you win, which is great. I haven't sleeved the cards. You may choose to sleeve them. If you choose to sleeve the cards, they will not go back in here at all. So it's really up to you. Is there a lot of shuffling? Yeah, you end up shuffling a lot of your character's deck. So you have to be careful. I mean, especially because they have, these are not your character's deck. Your character's deck. Because they have all of this nice artwork and the shininess of the card, which is nice. You want to be careful. I end up when I shuffle them, I don't do them exactly the way I showed you. I do the typical multiple stacks, right? And I just do the stacks like this. The typical shuffle like this, and then I take them, maybe cut them again, and then I pick my 8. That way I'm not shuffling or shuffling with a lot of friction hitting the edges and such. But this was not a playthrough, but you can get an idea of what it takes to go through and defeat the boss. The artwork is great. It's an $18 game, under $20, which is incredible. The cards are good quality cards. And so you actually get a lot of game value for your money. How replayable is it? Well, you know what? You're doing the same thing. There's still only 3, the same boss at the bottom. It's a mediocre replay value, but you can also play different characters. If you have other modules, you can play those characters in here. So there's some variability. If you just like deck handling or deck building, and you like that kind of puzzly nature of, what card can I play when to try to defeat something? When should I use my lantern? If I want to, if you really enjoy that type of behavior, this will have infinite replay value for you. And of course, different cards. You're not, like I said, you're taking some cards out of this deck when you start playing. You won't necessarily see them all. But anyways, so there we go. I hope you enjoy it. And with that, this is another, should you play this game? Well, based upon everything I said, you have to decide whether it's something you're interested in or not. But if you like what you see, $18, it's a great value. I really would recommend it if you like this crunchiness, this difficulty. Again, 1 to 4 player if you have additional sets. Otherwise, this game allows you to play 1 to 2 player. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you've made it this far, again, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, if you like this, and I will produce more videos like this. Keep an eye out for unboxings, should you plays, and some commentary as I go through my YouTube journey. Thanks again, and have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening. Take care. Bye-bye.